Well, if you're not going to get this vaccine, then you may as well start preparing to give birth to a dead baby. Do you want that?
What a threat.
I just looked, I was just like, I'm leaving for whatever reason. So I'm vulnerable and I'm super pregnant and I'm full of fear and anxiety. Don't know which midwife I'm going to get in this appointment. If I'm going to have to explain the whole, no, I'm not getting the COVID again. You know, this old woman, I could see that she believed it with all of her, with everything. And she did the turn to get the pamphlet off the wall. And I was like, look, I'm just going to stop you, you know, because I'm not going to get this thing. I feel so uncomfortable with it. You've just told me to avoid soft cheeses and you want me to get this thing. Because of that experience and what it takes to birth a baby without any like medical support, any pain relief, any, like literally just myself and my breath.
Yeah, because you had nothing, right? There was like
nothing. And like, by the way,
but don't touch the soft cheese, Georgina.
And by the way, the research on the soft cheese is also bullshit. Like, go for your life with the soft cheeses.
So if you did like a birth chart for Australia, right? Because Australia's birth date's super interesting. It's the 1st of the 1st, 1901. So there's only a 1 and a 9.
You know how Australia's like the testing ground for the agendas and stuff? Well, that is literally 13-4 energy. What else is wild is 1, 3, 4, 1. The letter A is 1. The letter U is 3. Those two are also 4.
AU gold and Australia.
All those 1 energy, it's like here first. We go there first.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The 3 energy is that's learning, that's studying. Like something I say to people, if you have 3 energy, you live life like you're a perpetual student. You know, you're a student of life and of the earth. You could never not learn enough. So it's like the testing, the learning ground, so the experimental ground. It's a 13-4 life path number.
13 bloodlines. See, that's all here. 13.
So remember
13 bloodlines into the 4 skin systems,
explain.
manifesting into reality. The start and the end, the beginning and the end, the alpha omega.
Yes.
Are you kidding me?
G'day, welcome to Skydive Podcast. Today we have Georgina on, fresh from her Adelaide event with myself, Trilly, and Jacob Schmully.
I need to change my name.
Anyway, Georgina, how you going? We've been having a bit of a chat off, well, not even offline, but anyway, I don't know where I'm going. What was I going to say? Well, we are video audience now too, so people can.
Yeah. Do I look all right?
I told you to make sure you dress appropriately.
Great lighting.
Now that
yes, you do.
But yes, Georgina is a numerologist, amongst many other things. And you're currently running your concurrent course at the moment. So I don't know. Should we talk about you, or should we kick off where we were with Madeleine?
No, let's actually talk.
Give us an intro. Tell us who you are.
Yeah.
Honestly, tell us the story how you got into numerology first.
Yeah, tell us the story. Start from the beginning.
Okay. Okay. It was very synchronistic as always. I've been very, most of my life I was very skeptical and just like this is all bullshit, this kind of stuff. And the only real experience I had of numerology through my life, I mean, I'd always been a numbers girl. I mean, that must be the Asian, right?
Yeah, Asians are good with numbers. I don't know if it's philos, though. I thought it was more like Chinese, but yeah, anyway.
Who knows? It could be the German side of me. I am German. Well, Germans do like numbers.
Or Germans like numbers.
Yeah. So I'll go with that. Maybe it's the German.
Oh, you got German too. So you're German, and yeah, you'd definitely be good. You'd definitely be intelligent. Germans are the smartest race.
Yeah, you've been like procreated for this. For this work.
This is what I'm here for.
Yeah.
Anyway, keep going. Sorry.
The bloodlines merging.
No, it's weird because the more I learn about my family lineage, there's there's obviously Filipino, and then there's so many in that, like there's Spanish and Japanese and blah, all of that. And then on the Australian side, there's the German, that's the most recent, obviously Australian. Aboriginal, Australian Aboriginal,
Oh, really?
wild, and Welsh and Scottish and all of these other things. Like,
Wow. You're
yeah.
like the compressed fractal of the entire universe.
But even like Filipinos for Asian, right? They're like Filipinos are all mixes of
Oh,
so
are they?
mixes of
yeah,
like
because they had like
Polynesian, Japanese, everything.
yeah, French went there as well. The
Spanish.
Really?
yeah, so many. They're just
I
so
used to work with a Filipino man, and he was so knowledgeable of like the earth and gardening and understanding like how I learned so much from him. He was like a magic man. He would whistle and the wind would start blowing. Like he'd be
wow.
like, no, I'm serious. I was like, what the? And he told me so many like witchy stories from over there. Anyway,
There's so much.
yeah.
So much. Yeah, so I'm a child of the earth, I say, and I always get people tell me that oh, you look like someone that I know, and I've been mistaken for people all the time. I've been called Phoebe, Rebecca, like so many, and I'm like, and people like, I'm just like, I look like everyone because I'm from bloody.
Do you answer? Hi.
Sometimes.
Great to see you.
I thought that about you when we met. So like I had like a familiarity, just like the way you look.
Who are you? Where are you from? I know you. I get it so often.
Wow.
So often. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, the only experience of numerology that I had was I had a housemate when I was like 18, 19, and she was like scribbling away in her room like a freak. And I walked past to go to the toilet. I'm like, what the fuck? What are you doing? She's like, oh, I'm doing someone's numerology. I'm like, all right, freak. Like, whatever. That was it. That was the only experience I had until fast forward. Have I told you about the birth experience that I had with Ollie, my son, and the free birthing experience? Because I free birthed him, right? And people talk about the portal that opens up, and and through that experience, I actually had witnessed with my own eyes this freaking portal open up. And then I was surrounded by these women in circle, and they were chanting and singing and drumming. And there was this one in the center that just like eyeballed me. I'm like, all right, like I get it, whatever. I'm going to follow your lead type thing. And because of that experience and what it takes to birth a baby without any like medical support, any pain relief, any like literally just myself and my breath.
Yeah, because you had nothing, right? There was
like nothing at all. It was literally myself, my breath, and then like doing the things in the environment to make me feel safe. And that was it. That was all I had.
Wow.
13 and a half hours.
Were you scared going into that too?
Nah, I was like the only kind of concern that I had was that I had insomnia. So like when I went into labor, I hadn't slept for 90 hours straight.
Whoa.
The sleep that I got before that was like fragmented 2 hours over, like broken.
So your body was already preparing like hormonally for.
Yeah, I was freaked out because I was like, I can barely stand and hold myself up. How am I gonna birth a baby for an
That's probably a good thing, right? Because you could full go into the delusional, not delusional, but do you know what I mean? Like let it
I don't
go.
know. What would like the medical world say about that? Because
I reckon the body was probably prepping you.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
Like, had you had insomnia prior to that, or was it just in?
It'd be hormonal, eh?
It got, well, it's a bit of a story, but towards like the second half and the end of the pregnancy, I started to become obsessed with true crime.
What?
How does that lead? Is that what led you to insomnia?
Oh, it was part of it. Like I was up every night, like watching like unsolved mysteries, and like I couldn't sleep. And then I'm watching all this, and then I started to then my brain started to go, oh my God, like what if an intruder comes into their house and I don't have any weapons and I'm fucking pregnant and I can barely stand, and what am I going to do? So then like I made us go out and we got like big axes and machetes and stuff. And I started sleeping with it under the bed. Like I just started to go insane. But that's like actually part of the process because your progesterone.
Yeah. The protection. Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Wow.
You're not allowed
Yeah.
to have a machete. They're illegal.
Well, I had one. I had one, baby.
They're only illegal now.
Yeah. Yeah. When you're pregnant, you can do things. Looking to eat your head off right now. Yeah, so throughout the second half of the pregnancy, I was basically like not sleeping at all, you know. Little pieces here and there. And yeah, so when I started to go into labor, I was like, fuck, I'm like exhausted. Really badly exhausted. How am I going to do this? That was the only moment where I was like, oh no, maybe not now is a good, like, let me get a couple hours in first, you know. The only concern I had, but then I was just like, oh fuck, like it's going to be, if it's going to be, you know. And my entire labor was one that would have been heavily medicated and intervened with in if I was in the hospital because, you know, there's like the typical textbook, you get 3 contractions every 10 minutes and they each should last between 45 to 60 seconds. And that's how you know you're in labor. And if that continues throughout then you're progressing. You got to progress, you know, 1 to 1.5 centimeters every hour, which is all fucking bullshit and just makes me so wildly angry because dilation has nothing to do with progressive labor whatsoever. Anyway, I could go down so many rabbit holes about that. But my labor was like, it maybe for a 2-hour period, it would be textbook and then 45 minutes of nothing, like nothing. What's like, oh, I'm not in labor. I can do things. I can vacuum. I can, you know, like nothing at all. And then it would be another string of like back to back to back and then 20 minutes break. And then, do you know what I mean? And so.
Is that normal?
Yeah, it's absolutely, well, normal to the medical industry, no, but normal for women.
I mean, like people doing home births and that, would that be normal?
It's becoming more and more so now. There's like a revolution happening that birthed out of COVID because people were like, there were so many restrictions.
It really did around that time. I know, yeah, a lot of people that did it just because they didn't want to go to a fucking hospital in that time.
Yeah, they didn't want to go to a hospital. And there was like, well, if you're not vaccinated, your partner can't be in the room. If he has a sniffle, he can't be in the room. He can't come to the appointments, the midwife appointments. He can't, you know, there were all the, like, they were barring women of having water births and like I birthed in water. It's the like natural pain relief, hot water. And it's like, because the spread of, I'm like, that's like, it's going to spread in the water. Shut the fuck up. You know, like, oh, seriously, real fuck.
I mean, like to skip forward, like how, again, like were you weren't worried at any point? Like because I feel like the trust in it is really important. I know like my sister-in-law's, she had one at home by accident and then she had the next 2 at home, but she was very confident, I think, with the next 2 because she'd already done it. But I think having your first child is completely different, right? Because
so she had one at home by accident. What do you mean?
Well, she said, "Oh, we're going to go to the hospital."
Popped.
She was having labour, and then she went to the toilet, and it just came out. And literally, she had like a 30-minute labour.
Wow,
It's
great.
It's awesome.
Anyway, I guess my question was like, you're in a confident state the whole time, like that it was
through the labor. It took what was really interesting is that when so the first half of the pregnancy, I was going through the system. I was going to the midwife appointments and going through the process line like that, as you do. Because, you know, I was already like taking extra precautions because before I became pregnant with Ollie, I had 2 miscarriages back to back that were pretty horrific. And so I was already like, oh my God, and when you become pregnant.
That's what I mean, because you'd had that experience, surely there was like some doubt and fear there.
Yeah, there was. And so when you become pregnant after miscarrying, it's every single day is like am I going to wake up to a pool of blood today? Every single fucking day. And then you have that organically because of the fear of the last time. But then when you're also going into these appointments and they are looking for something wrong with you, they're looking for it. They only do tests to find something wrong, not what is right.
Yeah.
And like, it would be ridiculous things. Like, I remember them saying to me, like, oh, if you get rashes on your feet, that could be a sign of, I can't even remember, but you know, you need to come in immediately. That I'm like, I've had eczema my entire life. I've always got fucking rashes on my butt. Like, you know what I mean? And so they're looking, so they're adding to this. And so the whole time I was going through the system, I was just had an infestation of fear in my body. Every tiny micro little symptom of, oh my God, is that a death rash? Or, you know what I mean? Like every single thing. And then that point where that midwife said to me that, well, if you don't get the COVID vaccine, then you may as well start preparing to give birth to a dead baby. You know, when she said that to me, that was it. I was like,
what a comment. Can you say that again?
Yeah. So went into this appointment and this was like, it was fucked. It was really, I was already so anxious. My partner at the time couldn't come in with me for whatever reason. So I'm vulnerable and I'm super pregnant and I'm full of fear and anxiety. Don't know which midwife I'm going to get in this appointment. If I'm going to have to explain the whole, no, I'm not getting the COVID again. You know, this old woman, I could see that she believed it with everything. And she did the turn to get the pamphlet off the wall. And I was like, look, I'm just going to stop you, you know, because I'm not going to get this thing. I feel so uncomfortable with it. You've just told me to avoid soft cheeses and you want me to get this thing.
It's so true, isn't it? You know, like the stuff they tell you not to do when pregnant is like, but then like we'll just put some unknown poison in your body
that can cross the blood-brain barrier.
Yeah,
oh my gosh. And like, by the way,
but don't touch the soft cheese, Georgina.
And by the way, the research on the soft cheese is also bullshit. Like, go for your life with the soft cheese.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like,
they say you're not allowed to eat any chili, and it's like, do you think every Indian mum in North India is not eating chili while they're pregnant? Like, shut the fuck up.
Like, it's so dumb. It was so fucking dumb. But I was in Tassie at the time where the borders were shut. And so they were about to open the borders. And everybody was like, when they open the borders, COVID's going to flood in. You got to make sure you're vaccinated.
What was this? What like month did this happen?
It was in 2021. And it would have been, what was I? It would have been towards the end of the year, around October-ish, I'd say.
That was when they were about to open you. All right, so let's go back to, you're in there, you've met with this nurse. She says, repeat it again.
She says to me, after I say, look, no, I'm not getting it, she just like literally flung herself back in her chair. Like she went, no. Well, if you're not going to get this vaccine, then you may as well start preparing to give birth to a dead baby. Do you want that?
What a threat.
I just looked, I was just like, I'm leaving. And I got up, I burst in.
If only you could have recorded that, because geez, I don't think that even then that is okay to say that. Is it okay to say that?
I don't think it's ever okay to say that
legally as part of her, like, you know, practicing as a.
That's like mass fear coercion. Like, I'm sure a lot of that.
I just can't even believe that someone could actually, those words could come out of their mouth with the pregnant woman in front of them.
Mm.
Well, when I came back from Cambodia, I had a skin infection. I had to get lanced out.
Can't believe it.
And the doctor said to me when I went in there, and he's like, oh, did you get your injections to go to Cambodia? I'm like, no, why would I do that? And he goes, you're a fucking idiot. That's what he said to me, to my face. I'm like, just cut the fucking leg open, bro. I'm not here for a moral lecture from you.
My God, these people. And
anyway, so
it's like mass psychosis. Like, people were deranged. Like,
they were. Yeah.
You know, it's so. But also, when crazy, absurd shit like that happens to me in my life, I've learned that that's happening for a higher purpose. Like, this is like,
totally
spirit at play here. Like, they've got to say do something so wildly out of bizarre land. Oh,
So,
because I ran out of there bawling I was like a total mess because I did question myself. I'm like, am I
Oh,
making
totally no.
yeah?
I can't fathom
It was
that comment.
fun, but I was like, I ran out of there. I was swore. I'm like, I'm never coming back to this place ever again. Like, how can I trust people to birth my baby after being given death threats? Like, how do I trust them?
And that's what it is. Like, I actually can't. Anyway, far
Yeah.
out.
so
So,
was that the result of you basically like that was the moment you said, "No, I'm not."
Yeah. That was the moment that I was like, no, no, no. Well, I was quite naive. I was like, I'm just going to find a private midwife and do it myself. I didn't even know about free birth at this point.
mm,
Um, but I was just like, fuck, women have been birthing babies for literally like ever. The medical industry or medicalized birth has only really become populated in the last 100 years. What were we doing before that? There's plenty of us. Like I'm pretty sure
there was more of us too.
Yeah,
Which is a whole
otherwise,
other thing when you think about the trauma that's induced in the medical system with birthing. And when women have gone through that, that's a really good contraception, isn't it? And then we
Oh,
wonder why we've got a declining birth rate.
well, it's like so layered because the like birthing in a hospital, like I saw this comedian, a random clip of this random comedian who I don't even know. He and his wife had 3 home births, and he's talking about the reaction from people about having a home birth, and he's like, yeah, like why wouldn't I want my wife to birth our brand new baby in a gown that someone just died in? You know? I'm just
That's
like,
so funny.
I
Yeah,
get
next to the dying, the people that'll live. Yeah.
But like if you think about like the
Mm.
birthing suite is always above the psych, the psych mental ward, the emergency department, and then on top, and then it's like then the birthing. So it's like no one's walking around the hospital with a fucking sage stick cleansing that shit. The like the entities and the darkness and the trauma and let alone just the sterile, like it's all.
Yeah. And then even the staff, like having to like they're dealing with someone over here, and then they're coming into a like the energy that they would bring into a
not
birthing ward too
personalized.
is
So wild. And
yeah.
then when on top of that, you realize that hospitals are like built on major portal spaces as well. So it's like huge energy, like so freaking layered. I'm like, nowhere near it. And also I was feeling at the time, this is when there was so much information coming out about the shedding of the vaccine, and I was just like, if there's one place I don't want to be when I'm giving birth to a brand new organic baby, it's in a hospital where everyone's going to be shedding all over me and all this kind of. So it was just, there was so many reasons to be in fear. But when I ran out of that hospital and I made the decision, I was really full of anxiety for the first part because finding there was 3 private midwives in Tasmania, full stop, and they were all booked out like pregnancies in advance because there was this huge movement to birth outside of the hospital. So I couldn't find anybody. And then I'm like, fuck, what am I going to do? Because I didn't know about free birthing. And I found an ex-midwife who left the system because of all of the mandates and shit. She became a doula. She signed on to support us. And I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. 3 weeks before I went to give birth, she pulled out.
Oh, what?
Because she realized, because she's technically still registered. And if anyone found out, they could like take her home. It was like a massive risk. Like
Oh.
really came down hard on this.
Yeah.
So she had to pull out, which I was like raged about because I'm like, I got like 3 weeks to go. Like, this is not, I'm 30, like 30, like, wow,
I mean,
but
if you got 3 weeks to go, it could come any day, really. Couldn't
like
Yeah,
any
you got
day,
really put in that situation. Wow.
like universe, spirit, whatever was like, no, 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 no,
Watch
no.
what you got.
Like, exactly. But when that happened, there was something in me that just went, I'm fucking doing it myself. I'm just going to fucking do it. And the moment I surrendered to that, all any doubt, any concern, any worry that I had over anything just literally disappeared. And I literally came into this embodiment of like this grounded, fierce, powerful woman that I'd never experienced ever in my life. I'd never been this version of myself ever. And all of a sudden I'm like, oh, I'm a fucking
it's
woman.
like the whole succession of events, though, was kind of perfectly mapped out for essentially have the birth that you did.
Yeah. And so there was so much fear. But when I'd surrendered to no, I've got this, my body's got this, my baby's got this, I fully trust and surrender to it. I was like, I've been birthing for centuries. I can do this in my fucking sleep, like zero. And what was really cool is I learned to muscle test myself. And so if I had a question like, is he in the right, optimal position for birth? And I would literally just muscle test. And then I would just fully surrender and back whatever answer I got. And it literally all was perfect.
Right. Yeah.
There was literally zero pain through the labor. There was zero complication. Like it was just the most blissful, borderline relaxing, orgasmic, wild, like the most incredible experience of my life. And to physically go through something where you're physically tested to the absolute limit, but in every level, like physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, you are tested. And the level of surrender that is required at every fucking level, at every fucking moment is like, from that, like that's the biggest lesson ever, is that when I fully surrender and just let go of whatever, and that's like it's going to work out. And now it's like I see everything in life through the lens of labor and giving birth, because you don't know how long this period of intenseness is going to last for, but you know that when it's done, and that's never going to be able to come. Like you cannot go through the same contraction twice. You know what I mean? It's like it's
really it's like the fear of the unknown, really.
It is, but
I think there's a lesson in that for everyone, men and women.
Yeah.
You had nothing left but to trust yourself. In the end, you had no other option.
All roads led back to me, but it wasn't.
You do the muscle testing, don't you, Mads? Don't you do that?
Yeah.
Was
your
that
body's wisdom is so? I mean, you can tap into your body, or you can tap into other parts. What? Wait, what? What did we miss?
I don't know how to do it. Because like John was doing that Bowen.
What are you laughing about, Georgina? What did I miss? What did Dale say?
Did you do like Bowen with? Oh, you spilt milk. Mate, we're on a video record. You can't do that.
She laughed.
I
don't want to know what you're laughing at.
Spilled milk.
She's lost it.
I tried to drink. I tried to be all like regal and then.
What are you drinking? Raw milk.
I tried to be regal.
It's a raw milk chai latte that I made for
myself. Yeah. Actually, what was that? What's that silly? Oh yeah, I went to get coffees for like Georgina when we were away, and she's one of these annoying people that has like some stupid order that no one's heard of. And
it's literally a chai latte, Dale. It
was like a
sticky chai. The sticky chai. I don't want the powdered shit. That's it. That's all it is.
Yeah, and I went to like 3 different places, and they're like, some had no idea what I was talking about, and then the next one said we can't do that.
It's the one that's just not the powder. I know the one. Yeah, there's no point having a chai unless you're having that. I agree. Yeah,
100%.
Oh, is that all it means? It's not the powdered chai.
Not powder. It's like leaf.
Oh, so you want like chai?
I want the real fucking shit. Okay. That's not hard.
Yeah, okay.
I appreciate you going to 3 different places. I didn't know that. Thank you.
I didn't know that.
I just came back.
Came back with the goods. Didn't tell you how much you struggled.
Anyway, yeah, I do.
What a man.
Is that like similar when John was doing Bowen and that? Because he was using.
Yeah, they use it in they use it in kinesiology a lot as well. Muscle
and chiropractic too.
Yeah, it's so powerful because what is it like?
You just get a direct answer from from the muscle testing.
Well, your brain calculates things. There's none of that in your body, in your physical, in your muscle, so it's like it's beyond muscle memory. It's like instant knowing, if that makes sense. I don't know if I explained that very well. You probably know better, Mads.
No, that's good. I reckon it's so good. Like, especially if you've got like physiological stuff or like some kind of like body issue, and you're like, I even do it. I think people have seen people do it with supplements, like testing how much, like how many drops or how much they need or if they need it and stuff like that. And it's always right.
Yeah. Yeah. And I used to do it with food as well. So like working out what foods I needed to eliminate my diet, I would just like hold the thing and then muscle test.
Yeah, that's what they do. Yeah.
Yeah. It's so like you can use it for so many different things.
Yeah,
I sometimes use it for like business and like, should I set it at this price or this price or
yeah, I do that too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
So tell us about your diet now too, because you do have I know like being away with you, it's like there's a lot of meat and there's a lot of milk.
Yeah. It's meat, red meat, it's raw milk and cheese. That's basically my diet. And
would that be like 90% of your diet?
that's it. That's what I eat. I have chais. That's my little vice that I have. So there's a bit of caffeine in that, but I'm like, I want to not feel like I'm restricting myself ever, like, because that's when you feel like you start resenting what you're doing and what you're eating is when you feel like you're restricted. So I'm like, if I want something, I'm going to allow myself to have it. But I still have like fruit and smoothies, and I've been adding some avocado in there, which has been really nice. But yeah, I make my own tallow. So I cook in tallow and I make my own ghee and I cook in ghee. And, so it's very raw and meaty.
You have
and
like a lot of fat, really. Sounds like
I mostly eat
It's really good for your brain.
Yeah. I'm eating a crazy amount of fat and protein. That's basically my diet. And it's very, like, there's nothing else in it, literally.
That's great.
And how long you done that? How long you done that for? Like
well, I first transitioned. I love using that word.
Transitioned in a different way.
Well, I was eating I've gone like really red. I don't know why. Am I red on your screen?
No.
Oh, okay. It's just me. Yeah, I was on like a whole food diet, eating lots of carbs, lots of veggies, lots of potatoes, lots of rice.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? I was just eating that kind of way. And for years, I had issues with my stomach, fatigue, skin issues. I was sensitive to fucking everything. I couldn't be around animals, any version of animal, even if they were like hyperallergenic. I couldn't, like, I was severe, like anaphylactic level allergic to eggs and dairy and gluten.
Really?
Yeah, like I couldn't go in the sun without having a breakout. Like I was so sensitive.
Wow.
And I transitioned, my first transition from eating that way, I spent about 3 months where I went animal based. So I ate just animal products and only like fruit with seeds in it, obviously. So I'd eat pumpkin and zucchini and just fruit basically. And I did that for about 3 months. After a week of eating like that, I could have all the dairy I wanted, not even raw dairy.
After a week,
I started eating like blocks of cheese at a time with no repercussions, which that would have sent my body into an absolute fucking, like I'd have full body rashes. I'd be blown out in my face.
What's the science behind that? Like,
did you stop potatoes and rice?
I stopped potatoes, rice, pasta, seed oils. I wasn't eating any nightshades. So like tomatoes, like all of the very acidic things. And yeah, like
That's
what else?
Fascinating.
All processed food, like everything, carbs even. And I just experimented. I was like, let's see if I can have some cheese. And I ate it and I was like, within microseconds, I'd have a reaction and I was just waiting. I'm like, And I was even like, am I going to manifest a reaction because I'm waiting for it to happen? Still nothing.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
after a week,
Yeah,
why?
that's wild. Isn't it fun? Because our body can really adapt so quickly. So I'm wondering, like, because I've heard, because we have a bit of rice and we actually give the dogs rice. And I saw this thing the other day about, because I've always been a bit funny
You're
about
supposed to
it.
do that.
Sorry?
Give dogs rice.
Huh? You're not supposed to?
I don't know.
Oh, well, I do. Anyway, so apparently, certain places, like certain areas where you get rice, it can have really high heavy metal
Mm.
quantities. And then also, obviously, it's like glyphosate. And I was thinking how much it can absorb. And then also, like your nightshades, like you were talking about, they tend to absorb glyphosate and, fluoride and that kind of thing quite a lot too when it comes to when they're sprayed, they absorb it more than other vegetables. So I
Mm.
wonder if there's a link there with like you reduce the chemical load and then the seed oils, and then your body is able to kind of like do its normal processes and eliminate what it needs rather than being overloaded, maybe. But that's amazing though. A week. It
A
took me
week.
8 months.
It's like, it was,
But then now you have like a lot of cheese, right?
it's like, I go through so fucking much cheese and it's bloody expensive. I paid $16 for a kilo
Yeah,
block.
it's getting so expensive now. I know.
So
Yeah.
expensive, but I'm like, this is all I eat. I must have this.
Yeah. And
Um,
it's so quenching.
and I was so like doing it. I was really nervous because I love potato. Like that's like like
Mm.
of potato, all versions. It's the most versatile vegetables. You know what I mean? And I just was
Mm.
like, I'm gonna miss that. But when I cut everything out and I just started giving my body meat, it was like I felt this like awakening in my body, and then my body was just like, give me more of that. I didn't miss anything
Mm.
else. My body was craving the nutrients from this thing. And like I was eating like, I don't even know, I was eating like 3 steaks a day or something like that. And
Wow.
that was it. And a little bit of veggie on the side.
You're
But then,
getting the good quality meat too. Like even those
Yeah.
hamburgers you went and got
Yeah,
like
that
the
matters.
organ meat and stuff mixed in with the mince, and yeah, so it's really good, like good quality.
yeah, yeah, I
Mm.
eat it quite a bit of organs as well. Like, oof, ground it
Well,
up.
that's the best way to eat organs is like you just go to the butcher and just get and just get them to mince it in with like a
Yeah.
high organ mix, and then you
Yeah,
know.
I eat a lot of mince. I love eating mince because that has the mix of all the
Mm.
different things. It's got like the fat in it and the organs in it and the like pieces
I
of like
love that.
chicken and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So I eat a lot of
Mm.
I
that.
reckon if you're cooking hamburgers, they should be like pissing out fat. Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean? That's when you know it's good meat.
yeah.
Like, or just like bubbling out, like that's when you know it's
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, and then yeah, so yeah, transitioned for about 3 months, and then I went strict carnivore for about 6 to 8 months, I think, and then that's when
Mm.
everything dramatically changed for me. Like I
Mm.
stopped being allergic to things. Like I was allergic to things. Like I could not be around animals. Now they sleep in my bed. Do you know what I mean? Like it changed everything, my mental clarity, my energy levels, my focus, my energy levels throughout the day. Like I now, I've gone back to just intuitively. I went after the initial 6 to 8 month period, so much physical healing in my body happened. Then I just like slowly just was like, oh, I want to try a bit of this and have a bit of this. And I was just kind of free flowing, not really having anything, whatever. But then the last 6 months, I've gone back into like pretty much strict carnivore, but I'm
Mm.
not being strict about it, if that makes sense.
Yeah. You're just naturally wanting that. So
My
are you
body
having eggs now too?
still can't eat eggs, but I can cook with them. I can touch
Ah.
them. I can have it on my skin, and so if someone was cooking eggs in the house, I'd have to literally be outside for 45 minutes until the smell completely dispersed. I couldn't walk into cafes. I couldn't like
Wow.
severe, but now I'm like cooking with them every single day, and if I
Mm.
taste a little bit of it, the most that happens is like I get a sick, nauseous feeling in my stomach.
Mm.
which is wild because I would literally blow up. Like my airways would start to close over.
Oh, wow. Wow, wow, wow.
Yeah,
We need to get you on the eggs eventually.
yeah. Well, I have this like secret mission to get my own bloody chickens, feed them a raw diet, no soy, because soy is like the killer of everything. And then I feel like those eggs I might be able to actually have because they don't have all of this extra shit in them, you know.
Oh, that would
So
probably be the best introduction, I think.
yeah. So I'm slowly working my way to that, but yeah, many things are happening right now. But yeah, so yeah. Yeah.
Well, this was the original question was how did you get into numerology? We haven't got there yet. So,
Well, but can we go back to the birth? So
I cannot wait. I just want to. Can
Okay.
you explain what free birthing is? Because I just
Yeah, can we go back? Because you sort of like, we know the birth happened, but we sort of just talked about the fact that you ended up doing by yourself. So go back to that. Explain that.
Yeah, so free birth essentially is it's sovereign birth. You're birthing on your terms, your way, in your environment without any medicalized support. So it's not like people can free birth and have support around them, like family members, best friends, doula, da 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 da. You know what I mean? But essentially it's oh shit, fuck up. Sorry, my thing is pinging at me. Essentially, it's sovereign birth. So you just do it. You get to do it your way on your terms, whatever that looks like. Some people have free birthed in the freaking ocean. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't understand like the cold water and the waves, like too much going on.
It's not a specific formula, as in like.
It's not a specific formula. It's basically just like the woman gets to do what she intuitively feels is right for her without restriction. And what's wild is that there's laws against it in different states. Like you can get your baby taken off you if, like in South Australia, funnily enough, where the child trafficking is the highest, right? South Australia and WA, the two strictest when it comes to birth restrictions. Fucking birth restrictions, right? Like that's a real thing. If you are seen by any version of authority to be intentionally free birthing, they will take your baby away from you.
Jesus.
Yeah, I've known.
Is this new? I know free birthers in WA. So how have they got away with that?
It's super. WA is like
Probably have to be reported. You have to have someone dob you in.
Yeah, someone W in, or like let's say you're, because this is a scenario that's actually happened to pick, because I used to be a doula and support birth, so I was.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I've fully am in all the different doula and free birth and can still get stories, but I've known people who in South Australia they were intentionally free birthing, but you can't tell it, not a single person. You can't tell anybody because the risk is too high, and they were at home, they were free birthing, they were just going to like go to the hospital after and be like, oh, I didn't make it in time, that kind of deal, right? And, but she lost a bit too much blood. They had to call the ambulance to come, and the paramedics were like, I think you guys were intentionally trying to free birth here, weren't you? And so they helped her, they brought her into the hospital, then they called the authorities.
No.
They called the authorities, baby was born, took the baby.
No. What?
Yeah, this happens all the fucking time.
And then what happens? Like, what do you mean?
I've seen these stories in the UK.
So you have to fight. You have to like you have to prove, you have to like go through this process to get the baby back. Like,
oh my God, our system.
It's really fucked. It's really, really, really fucked. And when you also understand the child trafficking in this country and the birth industry, like, and I call it an industry because that's what it fucking is, it's disgusting. It's absolutely fucking disgusting. It's really bad. Really bad.
Wow, it's right at because I know looking into a lot of this stuff with like you know, how they kind of sway things with like with kind of like co-parenting and stuff like that, and how sometimes the state can have such a hold in the thing. They can actually take the children under certain circumstances. I've looked into that kind of stuff, and especially with it happens a lot with Indigenous families as well, because there might be someone that gives the child to the auntie, and then the auntie does and it can kind of like flow on from there. So that happens a lot. But from birth, I actually did not know this was still going on. Like this is legitimately like stolen generation continuing on today.
They take them. There's a law. It's called future potential harm. So you can be the perfect parent.
Oh my God.
You've done nothing wrong, but they can say because of what you've done medically, that is future potential harm, that you're not gonna do this, and this medically for this child.
Yeah, I know people, again, in South Australia who did everything right, birthed through the hospital. She declined a specific intervention that she didn't feel comfortable with, and they throw all the interventions at you. So there was just one that she declined, and I don't know exactly which one it was, but after the baby was born, it's very common that when people birth in the hospital, there's always complications and issues with either the baby or the mother after. It's just very common.
Yeah, it's not a natural environment. They don't feel comfortable.
They intend for it, and it's more business for them, to say it very bluntly, right? And they need to be seen as like the heroes in the white uniform,
the priests, yeah.
The priests.
The priests of the church of religion.
Yeah, because then
the church, of the medical cult.
The people come out of birthing their baby in the hospital and they go, thank God I was in the hospital, because imagine if I did that at home and I didn't have the help there. Like it's so fucked up. It's so brainwashed. The only reason why you had those issues in the first place because you were in the hospital. Like statistically more likely to have a traumatic birth just by being in a hospital.
Yeah, it's a really frustrating debate though, isn't it? Because we don't have the studies of comparison, because they don't support home births. So it's kind of like we can't even have this comparison anyway, because they won't allow that to take place, you know what I mean? Because then they compare it to back in the day and they're like, blah, 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 X amount of, children got sick or whatever. But it's like, look at the hygiene levels back then compared to now. Like there's all these other factors of like awareness around, bacteria and parasites, and like do you know what I mean? Like there's a lot more awareness now around all of that, but that isn't taken into account. And it's like, and even, anyway.
There's actually so much research to support against all of these interventions, because they're like for example, there has never
induction or whatever.
Oh my gosh, don't even get me started on that. But like one thing that is so common practice is monitoring of the baby's heart rate through the labor. That's so common practice, and there was never any research done in the first place to introduce the very first, piece of equipment to be able to hear a baby. There was no research ever done. And now they can't do it because it's unethical, right? It's unethical to do research on this because you're dealing with the baby's heart rate. Like, you know what I mean? There's never been any research. And in fact, the research that has been done on specifically whether it's beneficial to monitor a baby's heart rate throughout the progression of labor, the research has proven that it is not beneficial, and yet they still do it. There's no benefits to monitoring a baby's heart rate. It does not improve birth outcomes specifically.
What is the purpose they give for monitoring the heart rate? Like, why are they
it gives them a sense of control, and they say if we can monitor the baby's heart rate, we can understand whether the baby's in distress or not, which means that we will know if we need to step in. It gives them a sense of
so it's not benefit, it's just controlling the conditions. Yeah, right.
Yeah, being able to control the condition.
Like, if you were putting the mother into more fear and anxiety, surely that's gonna.
But this is the thing, like your
heart rate anyway, isn't it?
Well, that's like 100%, and just being able to, like, you're in labor and you can hear your baby's heart rate you can hear it, and you're a tiny human being squeezed through a tiny space. Your heart rate is naturally going to fluctuate throughout that process, naturally going to like up and down and all over the place, particularly when you're about to be birthed through the birth canal.
They're
You know,
probably fucking excited. They're about to come out. They're like, fuck
so
yeah.
much. And the mild
I'm
hypoxia.
about to enter the hell realm.
Hell realm. Dale,
Oh,
don't get Gnostic on us. Fuck me.
I love it. I love it though. The hell realm. It's so accurate, particularly if you're being born into a fucking hospital. That is a hell realm in my
You're in the hell realm.
Satan's den. Welcome.
But yeah, like the evidence, the research doesn't support it actually improving the outcomes of birth, and yet they do it religiously all around the world. Like there's so much in the system that the research has been done and it's been sitting there for a really long time. Nothing, it's not changing. And so, you know, it's really fucked. And so this woman, going back to this woman, she declined one intervention throughout her labor. The baby had an issue later on. They were like, it's because you declined that intervention. You're unfit. They literally took the baby away from her. For weeks, she had to fight and fight and fight and fight to get this baby back.
Wow.
Weeks.
And, you know, this is the real problem. This is another avenue I've been going down, is this kind of psychological route, right? So a lot of kind of psychological analysis and understanding now is very relative. So there's no objectivity. There's no like actual this and that. That's why we've got, you know, the whole transgender going crazy and like people transitioning, you know, and all of this kind of stuff. But when we don't have that, it's a slippery slope where we can no longer say, you know, that child needs its mother during that time, because there are psychological markers that show that it will, you know, it will actually be of most benefit to keep that child with its mother. But because of the way psychology is going, it's very left wing now. It's like that's not even into account. It's all relative, right? And so you can see how all of these different avenues are conversing that leads us to this inhumane sort of disaster where no one cares about what's biologically correct and pro-life, essentially, like pro, you know, life-giving and natural. And it's just going in all these different avenues, and all of these different departments are all singing the same delusional song. Because if it was a different way, they'd be saying that is, you as whatever institution it is of the most benefit to the baby to be with its mother, regardless of the mother's decisions medically. It wouldn't even matter about whether it had a cold or a bloody asthma attack or whatever. It's like it needs to be with the mother and maybe monitored, whatever. Like, I don't agree with that, but you know what I mean? And it's like all these avenues.
You've got to be very strong-willed, and particularly like
Absolutely.
in the medical system, like going in for any treatment, but then birthing's like another level, and like the pressure is immense.
And from everyone, the pressure from everyone.
Pressure from everyone to, like, you know, and the threats of and the guilt that's put on you, and then they leave you alone, and then they bring in another expert because you need to be spoken to because you're a stupid mum and you don't know what's fucking right. You haven't done a degree. Why would you? Why? Do you know what I mean? You get that condescendingness off so many doctors.
So, and like they bring in counselors as well to counsel you over your decision, but they don't do that. They don't do that when they recommend.
Oh no, this is what I mean. This is what, like, these psychologists these days are just perpetuating problems.
But it's also the language, like this whole thing around what I'm seeing, like with the numbers as well, is, and I've been seeing this for a time, and I sent you a video. I don't know if you remember, Dale. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But the whole,
send it to me. Dale doesn't watch videos that you send to him. Send them to me.
I'm about 30% hit rate if you send me a video.
Yeah.
You're pretty good.
Too many sent today.
I'll comment on it,
10 hours worth of videos today, and people say you must watch this, and I'm like, well, I can't watch them all.
Like, I like when we were staying in the Airbnbs, I'm just trying to have a fucking conversation with you, Dale. And your phone is like his phone. I'm sitting there getting anxiety because his phone is just constantly, it's just like,
Oh God.
and I'm just like,
Put it on airplane mode. That's what I do, and put it in a box.
he has to do that. He does have to do. I'm just like far out. So that anyone says to me like, "Oh, Dale never gets back," I'm like, "Do not talk to me about that. Do not. Like, I will fucking shut you down where you stand because that guy deals with a fucking lot."
Thank you, Georgina. I'm glad you said that.
Oh, like seriously, I've had lots of people say it to me, and then
Dale never gets back to
me messages saying, "Hey, can you tell Dale to check his messages?" I'm like, "No, he'll get to you when he's good and ready."
You become a PA.
Yeah. Anyway, that's a whole other conversation.
People used to do that to me, but now I don't reply either. So.
Hey, Madeleine's just as bad as me.
It's actually so intense, and like people can get really, really unhappy about it. And I'm like,
it's a really difficult thing to navigate.
It is.
It's like the only thing that gives me anxiety.
Same. It's the only thing that gives me anxiety too. And it's the guilt. I really need to deal with it.
Yes, guilt.
So much guilt.
Yes.
Like I just want to be, and also I think like when people ask a question, I'm like, I can't just answer this in one sentence. Like I need to send 5 voices to reply to this properly, and I don't have the time, and I'm so overwhelmed, and now I'm going to close my phone, and then I'm going to open again because I still feel anxious, and now I'm going to open another message, and there's another 5 people asking me questions. It's too much.
It's a lot. It's really.
I feel you handle it. You're like exceptionally good though, Georgina. But I think that's just more who you're like you're very efficient. You get to the task straight away. I've seen you at work, and you're a mum on top of that. So, and then I kind of look at you, and then I'm like, well, I don't really have an excuse.
Yeah.
Oh my God, you cannot use me as a reason to add to your fucking guilt, Dale. That's not okay.
Okay. Anyway,
Georgina can do it with a kid. I should be doing it.
Okay. So we've had the baby.
No, the numbers. She's talking numbers.
The numbers. So this thing, because going back to what you were saying, Mads, about the psychology of things, I'm seeing like this, the bigger agenda behind the censorship. Because we're coming into 2030, we're 5 years away from 2030. And I've spoken about the 3 energy. This is consciousness itself. And when the 3 is in, like the 3 energy is consciousness, that's what it represents, right? Everything is birthed and created as consciousness. Everything starts as an idea, right? When you have a 33, that's why I say the 33-6 is the highest frequency of consciousness, because it's also truth and authenticity. Like consciousness to me is truth. It is authenticity, right? And so,
Mads.
Yes, exactly. But like when you have that level of, that's why they use the number 33 a lot, because they're trying to access a level of consciousness. The 33-6s are the like most powerful manifestors, because I believe like the Jesus line, the Christ consciousness line, I've been doing research around this, and they believe that people walk around today with the bloodline still of Jesus Christ, but there's also soul lines of Jesus Christ. And I actually believe that line at a soul level is the 33-6. And so it's like this.
Can I tell you something really cool? So my name, this is just something I made up. My name's Madeleine Christine Powley. Like that's my maiden name, even though I'm transitioning to Ella Porter as a alias. Anyway, Madeleine Christine Powley.
Letting everybody know.
Yeah, I know. Well, everyone that's listening, you're all in on it. And then when I transition over, we're in a secret club that you know that that's my real name. And anyway, so Madeleine Christine Powley. So I'm like, it's Magdalene Christ Power. Do you like it? Dale hates when I say that.
No, I mean, I thought it was pretty fucking cool the first time, but it's yeah.
So I've got all the indicators.
Oh, okay. Do you know what, Georgina?
Yeah,
I've got to bring up one more bit because I did a video with Donovan and Nikki last night, and then Nikki's been doing all this research on.
Oh my gosh, that video that you shared is
experiments that they were doing on the genetic manipulation of Aboriginal peoples, and particularly this one guy, William Barrack. And so they've put him in Melbourne, like, so we've been doing all this stuff in the shrine, and they've put his building with his face on it because he was the last, like they were like the last mission that they had in Victoria that was purely Aboriginal. They had their land in Hillsville and that, and he was he's a big like hero in that era to like his people.
Mm.
I'm very interested in his bloodline, and the building at the end is his face, and it's 32, and then the bottom level, so it's actually a 33, like the building itself, which like it goes further into like what you were saying about because that's what we're finding out that like there's I think like the whole conquest of Australia was like about the DNA here, like and the land.
Yeah, that video you shared. So is that the one that you put up? I need to listen. I need to watch that video.
Well, we've
Is
done
it the
like
one?
10 videos on it, but it's like yeah, there's just like more and more Nikki like it's all Nikki's kind of work. But
We
yeah,
need to get Nikki on the podcast. Why haven't we had her on the podcast?
well we can.
Anyway,
Anyway, so yes, back to
Fascinating. But yeah, it's
2030.
2030, there's
yeah.
three energy. The three, like, it's so when the three energies in, like, it becomes a channel. That's why I call the threes the channelers and the seers. Like, we see things, but we channel things. So, like, we're big receivers. The 33 completes a loop. So not only are you receiving, but you can also transmit. And the six energy looks like a pregnant lady, which is birth into matter, into physical. That makes, so that's what makes a 33-6 so powerful is like literally people say this, your thoughts create your reality. But no, I actually believe that the 33-6, if there was a level of consciousness that created this simulation, it would be the 33-6 line. That's the level. So if you can create this simulation, you can literally create, manifest anything. It's so fucking powerful. And that's what they want to access, that level of consciousness, because that's like, well, governs everything basically. But
No, keep going.
Can I just ask, when you say 33-6, because that means like my name goes to 33, but then it also then that equals 6. Is that
your life path number is
Like
33?
your birthday. Like your birthday added up is 33.
Oh, my birthday.
Yeah, your birthday. I have to like, but you've also got we got to do a reading because like you've got
Yeah,
fucking
we need to do that.
the whole fucking birthday is full of like you've got 29, which is 11. Then you're born in November, which is 11, and then you have like 99 as well, another master number in your fucking year of birth. So and then your life path number is a 33-6, which is another master. So it's just like like
they're like the power number. You got 1 and 9s in there.
Yeah, it's
and that's your fucking masculinity too, Mads? Because she's a bit of a go-getter.
Well, yeah, the odd numbers are masculine. The 1s and 9s are very like go-getter type energy. Go-getter, initiating. Anyway,
I do just do the things.
Yeah, just do them. Don't think about it too much. Just do it.
Yeah.
If it aligns, if it feels right, your body feels aligned with it, then you'll just do it. So
that's
good.
very much me. Before I even think. So yeah. when it's 2030, so would you then say that that's a 5-year as well or not? Oh, you would. Okay, interesting.
Yeah, it's a 5-year energetically. Yeah. Yes, it is. But the 3 energy, they're channelers, right? And any channel that exists, there's no point having it if you don't have the volume turned up. So that's why the 3s are the communicators. And that, Dale, you're a 34-7, you're a 33, I'm a 303. It's like our voice, our expression is the power, is what reaches people. It's the resonance. And I had a download recently, or I know you don't like the word download, but I had a channel recently about our voices, and that our voices are literally like the resonance of our soul's consciousness. Like, that's wild. And, people spend their whole lives saying things like, oh, I hate the sound of my own voice. And then people are like, oh no, mate, it's like self-worth issues. Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, actually, maybe there's validity to that. Because when you put the radio on and there's distortion, you literally can't listen to it. Like, you got to turn it off. And so what people are hearing is literally like a distorted, suppressed version of their actual soul's consciousness, their soul's resonance, and then as we start to evolve and heal, et cetera, then we can become okay with hearing our own voices because it's actually representing our actual soul's consciousness.
Yeah, wow, that's so cool. And so when you say like expression, is it also writing, or is it?
Yeah, that's what makes 3 so creative because, Dale, you say when something is true, it is it shows up in multiple different places, right? It all speaks the same language, right? And so the threes are really creative because it can be a truth can be expressed through the verbal word or the written word or art, or dance or singing or music. And, that's why you can have an emotional experience listening to someone play piano because it's not the music, it's the expression of truth that is getting channeled through to you, expressed to you. So it's words and expression. And so when you look at
I was going to say, is that why like creative? Because there are all these words that start with C, because that's what GJ always says. Because like creativity, consciousness, Christ,
all three.
communicator, they're all three, the third letter.
Yeah.
And he even says the criminal. The criminal is a three as well, because he said three is like a rebel.
Yeah. Super creative. Like, think about a child. Like, think about how like the three.
Curious.
Curious. Yeah.
Hair.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly. It's super, it's a very, very childlike energy, which that's why threes always get along with each other because it's like the kid walks up to a strange kid in the playground and is like, you're my best friend, we're playing. But they're also very cut and dry. If you're not wearing a hat that I like, then fuck you, I'm not interested. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just like that's the three energy. It's like we have no tolerance for things that don't align with our higher truth.
So if Mads has got two of them, like a 33, that would be more, even more so, than like a
that's why she's energetically, spiritually extremely sensitive and has to like separate herself from the populace.
Oh my God, so funny. You know what my friend says to me? She's like, you live on the hill, not a real hill, a metaphorical hill. And and then she said, and sometimes you come down and speak with the civilians and then you go back to your hill. And then sometimes when I'm talking to her, she said, just come off your hill for a minute when we talk about this subject. This is what she says to me.
I love your friend. That is a great.
Yeah, she's a good friend.
That's epic. But it's like, how like Jesus, what was it, Jesus? He was in like a cave or something. He had like, anyway, I don't know. I'm getting it. I don't know the story, but like you got to like bunker yourself away and then build your stores and then go back out again. And
that's literally what I do.
It's a real
Jesus has to go exile for 40 days. He needs to he needs to go find himself.
like literally, like it's like you think about. This is a level of consciousness that it's like source consciousness, original creator consciousness. So you're not like a 303 like me. I'm like tapped into the field, so to speak, but I'm a receiver. So I can channel really well. But the 33/6 is like they're transmitting and like you are the field, so to speak, like lack of better wording. But so it's like when you walk into an environment and there's people, it's all of it. You're feeling all of it and so it's really, really, really a lot. But so words and expression, if you think about that and you think about the censorship that's been going on for such it's been going on since forever with the word nigger. Like that's just a word you cannot say, but then we've been slowly adding to that over time. You can't use the word abo or there's so many and lots of like it doesn't matter where you are in the world, everybody knows that rule. You cannot say these words.
Retard, you can't say that either.
You can't say retard. Yeah, exactly.
Well, I still say it.
We just said it, but that's another one.
We all say all of these words, like let's be honest. But like the censorship around words and then expression as well. Like look at like the trans movement and the expression and like that speaks volumes about that person and where they're at. And you know what I mean? And so it's become like and then COVID happened and then you were so censored through COVID. And so there's this huge agenda around censoring our words,
that's a C
again, right? Sorry, COVID.
Yeah, it's like a C.
It is a C. Exactly.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's what they do. They invert everything. So the three is the expresses and the, like the expansive expression and curiosity and all this kind of stuff. But that's like the opposite the absolute inversion of it is like no speaking, no words, all this stuff. And so what I think is actually they're trying to get rid of a lot of words so that we have less actually express ourselves and our truth through. Like they are like, and that's 2030. Like we're going to 2030 and like,
you know, I've been I was just going to say, I've been learning Spanish and they like have less words and more words depending on different things. And I've been thinking about like, you know, the different, like they've got feminine and masculine. And it's so interesting how many layers of, like how many layers of meaning are associated with certain things, right? And then I was thinking about, because we're going to get Jade on the podcast, we'll get her on eventually because she's like a wordsmith and she breaks down words. And one of the things I learned when I was learning like a bit of tribal language, like I'm not fluent, like just little things and kind of understanding how they got to that word, like they will have like the word for whale, for instance, is something like large. I can't really remember fully what it is, but it's like large container in the sea, or like, I don't know, like there's like all these
like
things.
very descriptive.
Yeah, like it's
the noun is a descriptive of what it is.
Yeah, and it's like associated with all of these different things. And then they'll have a word that's also another word that sort of links it. Like it's sort of like an energy line link that links that thing to that thing. And
I like how they use the same word twice. So if it's like birds, they just say it twice, like bird, like wagga wagga or whatever. Do you know what I mean? It's just
like creator beings, goody goody. Like, yeah, it's interesting. And I've been thinking about that. And it's so funny you bring that up because I've been thinking about language and words and how that creates, like, it literally creates consciousness, doesn't it? Like it creates our reality.
Well, it manifests consciousness is what it does.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily that the words create like it's consciousness first and then we like the six energy.
Bring it through.
That's why Tesla was obsessed with 369 because it's consciousness manifested in matter, and then the 9 is energy itself, which is the frequent. It is energy.
Yeah, well, that's true. Like in numerology,
and so that like for me, it's like if they can restrict and literally disappear, like get rid of words, like take them out of the dictionary, which is what they are doing.
Yeah, they are doing that.
Like then how much can we actually create from consciousness if we don't have the actual linguistic capacity, given that is literally our only modality to communicate? Do you know what I mean? And so I think that's where human beings are going to start, like the definition of being human is going to really evolve, and there'll be like cyborgs, people that like they won't have the capacity to like literally language, because it's like you can't say so many things now. You know, you cannot say so many fucking things. You can't call a she. You can't say, do you know what I mean? There's say so many things. And then at the same time, it's like, well, there's also like, that is also a gift in itself, because language itself is so fucking limited. And so when we take that away, where people that are like light beings or whatever you want to call them, it's like, well, that's when telepathy and things like that start to, and the whole human.
It's like the dual nature of 2030. Like the two is like there's two. Yeah, right.
Yeah, and that's the splitting of the 5 energy as well, because the 5 is very like extreme one way, extreme the other way. It's
okay. Yeah,
like it's a pivotal choice type energy. You know, I always think of like the player on the field. It's like he pivots, but that pivot that's a choice that he has to make to go that way. And usually he goes that way because there's like the 5 player in sport, he just follows the ball. So wherever the ball is, I'm going to go. And so that's why it's so important that people between now and then and beyond, and you know, it's like it's super important that the choices you make now, right? Like, what is the ball that you're following in your life? Like, are you following the ball that's called my highest authentic aligned and like that's not the easy path to take, but is that the path you're taking? Because if that's the ball you're following, then you're going to make a choice come 2030 that and beyond, right? That's going to align with that ball path, or is your ball somewhere else? And a lot of people, I don't know, you're probably doing a lot of readings too, where a lot of people are like, what am I really here for? Like, I'm really done with this and I'm really struggling and everything's falling apart. And like, what's like, you know what I mean? And it's visceral at the moment.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
a lot of people's world, well, it's that 9 year, hey, because like a lot of people's world views are, because I was thinking about this on a drive the other day. I do my best thinking on drives. And I was thinking about how your worldview or your perception of reality really shapes the decisions you make. So someone that is like, thinking, a certain way that they will like, how do I put this? Like, if they think they're going to live and die in this life and they've just got to make the most of it and like just do whatever, which to some extent, like I agree with that, but it's like, but they will treat others badly. They will treat their body badly. They'll just do whatever feels good. They'll
What's the point,
just,
right?
yeah. And it's like people have a certain worldview, but it's been tested. And because there's a lot of different theories, I think like people are coming to this point going, okay, I've made all these decisions based off that way of thinking about my life and reality. And now they're like, whoa, hold on. What do I think about reality? And now, like, what life have I actually created?
Mm.
What is it based on? And I think that that's the real crisis point too, because they're like, what am I actually living for?
Yeah.
Like, what's the meaning of this?
Yeah.
And yeah, it's
That's why social engineers always had to like molding the belief systems the most crucial. Like that's what the Soviet Union had
that's
to like
right, yeah.
crush religion because yeah,
Mm,
that's why they even said like that's how they were going to destroy America. That Stalin even like they pointed it out and they said America's got too many guns, they have too much patriotism, and they believe in God. And they said you'll never defeat them. And that so
wow, wow,
and you would never
wow.
defeat them militarily. So they would attack their culture through their belief in God, which like America's a very strong Christian nation.
Mm.
Then you would um, and then mold all their institutes. So what was it again? Yeah, it was like belief in God, and then they're like statism. You know, like Americans are all like fucking hand
Yeah,
on
yeah.
up, and they tried to like destroy all that. But you
Mm.
can see, like, I'm not saying for right or wrong, but you can see the behavior of like what has been an American has been guided by the
Yeah, and
perception
how
of
it
how they
shifts
see
behavior.
themselves as a nation.
It's
Mm.
wild. I see
Uh,
it.
Oh, I've got one question around. So if you did like a birth chart for Australia, right? Because Australia's birth date's super interesting. It's the first of the first, 1901. So there's only a one and a nine in
Oh, wow.
and which
Wow.
makes sense
First of the
because
first,
like it,
I
1901.
never thought about that.
yeah, because we've had the natal chart done by
The
astrology.
start,
So
the
we have
start and the end,
this
the
is what I
beginning
was
and the
thinking.
end,
Yeah,
the
the
alpha
begin
omega. Are you
yes.
kidding me?
I'm telling you, this is what I always thought
That's
Australia was the
wild.
start and the end, but it's like matched by the fucking numerology.
When did you come up with this idea? Did you just think of it just then or?
I've been thinking about it for 10 minutes, been waiting for my moment to butt in.
To be fair, I haven't even told you how I got to numerology.
Wow.
Beyond that now. Yeah. Oh, wow. Okay.
What is it
That's
overall?
it's a
14?
13 4 life path number. This
13, the
is
13 bloodlines. See, that's all here. 13.
so
The 13 bloodlines into the four
So,
skin
okay,
systems,
explain.
making manifesting into reality.
this is wild
Break it
because
down for us. So we've got first of the first,
firstly, I just have
1901.
to say the synchronicities around the 13 because remember I saw that fucking turtle at the end of last year. I saw the turtle
Oh,
Oh yeah, the moon cycle.
and it was broke into 4 pieces. Remember?
Oh,
I remember.
I
I
remember.
oh my gosh, it's so
Did
funny.
I said that there was like this South Park episode and there that you eat these berries and they just talk about like the nostalgia of what everything was. They're called the member berries and they're like, do you remember when there weren't so many Mexicans? Oh yeah, I remember that.
Oh my God.
Anyway, so yes, can you break it down for us, the
Yeah,
Australia
wow.
numerology?
Well, let me start off by saying 13 4 plus all those fucking one energies. That's insane. Hang on. Nine.
Yeah.
And that's an 11 as well. Ooh, geez Louise. So you know how Australia's like the testing ground for the agendas and stuff? Well, that is literally 13-4 energy. So, well, in this regard, it's not blanket statement, but all of those one energy, it's like here first. We go there first. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? The three energy is that's learning, that's studying. Like something I say to people, if you have three energy, you live life like you're a perpetual student. You know, you're a student of life and of the earth. You could never not learn enough. So it's like the testing, the learning ground, so the experimental ground, and then the four energy is earth energy. It is like groundedness. That's why I said to you, Mads, like you need to be so you've got 4 1s in your birth date and 4 different numbers, and you're under a 4 for
Ah,
2025.
right.
So you
Well,
need
would
so
that make
grounding.
sense then too that Australia's a 13-4, that because four's like the builder, so it was all like built from here, like it came from here, like
Yeah, yeah.
that's the foundation
Tested,
of Australia.
tested, and
Yeah, well, a lot of people there's been a lot of commentary about what happened during COVID in Australia because we were like the most locked down country and like they see us, a lot of people that are aware of the agenda see Australia as a testing ground all across
do you know what else is wild? What else is wild is 1, 3, 4. One, the letter A is 1. The
Australia.
letter U is 3. Those two are also 4.
AU Gold and
Gold.
Australia. Fuck man, this relates in the video we were doing last night. Holy
Really?
AU Australia, AU Gold as well. It's a fucking
Yeah.
gold land, mate. Oh my god.
What?
Yeah.
And it's weird you're getting given these keys right now, Dale.
That is, oh, I can't wait to tell Nikki. Oh my god. Yeah, all right. Oh, fuck, that's. I'm glad we spoke to. Yeah, because AU is
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
1-3.
It's 1, 3. The life path
And
number of
what's
Australia
four,
is
D?
1, 3.
You know about that.
Well, 4 is D, but AU together is 4. It's like
See, the
that is
AU that
life
creates the D.
path
It's the Dale. I'm the chosen one of the Southern Land.
Oh my gosh.
number.
Okay. So, but also like I know like the way you read it. So it's not just a 13-4. So you have the one because
The
it's
1,
the
the
first of
3,
January. The 1-1-1.
9, 1.
0-1. They're the numbers in there. So it's 1-1. So what? How would you read that? But the day and the month of the foundation of Australia too. And
So
yeah,
I look at so the ones, there's different ways to read it because ones are at the beginning of cycle of numbers, right? So then it's always like that's the beginning. So if you're under a one energy, there's going to be lots of new beginnings in your life, but it's also a masculine energy. So it's like if there's something to do, I'm going to fucking do it. I don't spend my time like just pondering, procrastinating. I'm just going to initiate. I'm just going to do it. It's
and
also
Australia was always seen as a masculine country, like the men. Do you know what I mean? Historically,
the men, yeah. Yeah, yeah. So that's interesting. And it's a very like it's the leader. It's the like they go first. They don't get told what to do. They like anyone else's birthday, if it's a person when I do readings for people and their birthday either is the first or it even just starts with a 1. If their birthday starts with 1, the first number is a 1, then I'm just like, you cannot have any authority around you. I see the 1 energy as how it shows up to me is like going way back to like tribal times. The ones would be like the hunters and the protectors of the village, right? And so being a hunter, it's absolutely detrimental to do the work that you're meant to do within the village. You have to separate literally, and you have to hunt outside of the village. So a 1 energy can only do their best work in isolation, literally.
Mm.
So when you think about that energy, right, you
Us being
cannot
on
have any
alone.
authority over you. Any authority will suppress your natural instinct, your natural ability, your natural leadership, your all of this stuff. It's super interesting that the birth of Australia was 1901 because the 1 and 9, like the ones, something I've been saying for the longest time is that we have not had, they invert everything. So what I'm seeing about this is a huge intention for people in Australia, that natural one energy that we all have if we're born in the 1900s. It, like, the intention was to severely invert it, severely invert it. That's why we're dealing with like imposter syndrome now so much, because people don't know how to be seen. They don't know
You
how to
can
step
see
out.
like
Yeah, tall
elements
poppy's crazy in
elements that
Australia.
was natural because like if the one is like the masculine and the leader and they don't put up with no shit and then
Protector,
it's
yeah.
a protector and then it's become like this country of apathy. It's almost like the opposite.
It's
Yeah,
the
that's so
opposite.
true.
Yeah. And the thing
But
about
that means
the,
it's probably going to come back if the natural expression of that energy, and which makes it even more interesting because the people who founded the country fucking obviously would have known this kind of stuff too. I don't
We'll
know.
separate from the crown for sure.
well, there's just like what the fuck? Like, first of the first 1901. Like, you just can't make that shit up. Do you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
the thing about the 9 as well, bringing the 9 into it, is the 9 is, that's also a masculine energy, but it's the back of the pack. So I see like the 1 energy, like the wolf at the front of the pack, that is direction. And you've heard this about the guy that researched this, right? And he came up with the term alpha wolf, but then he was like, oh no, the one at the front isn't the alpha, it's actually the
Yeah.
back, because he sees.
Yeah. The same with horses.
Yeah, he's got the whole view. You know what I mean? So it's like, and that's the 9 energy. The 9 is energy, so it's everything. And so it's like they're covering the bases, so to speak, from the front to the back and everything in between. We want to control, and specifically, we need to suppress the masculine, the natural protective energy in the people in Australia, because this needs to be literally like a testing ground for what's to come. But it's also like the 4 is such a consistent, reliable energy. And that's like, you think about the tall poppy syndrome, you can't step out. It's like, stick to what is secure, stick to what you know, stick to your lane, just get a good job and stick to it. And that's really like the wars, like the world wars really embedded that mentality. And a lot of people, like, that mentality, that mindset's really passed down. So it's like, you need to have a stable, like, stability has been used, even like,
don't take risks.
don't take risks, don't step out. You know what I mean? Which is like, if this
Be
energy,
successful, but not too successful.
yeah, exactly. Like, if
Well,
this,
that's like the Aussie tall poppy kind of thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
100%. So it's like set up from and it's like there's gold here, like there's and gold, physical gold, but also metaphoric gold, in that like we're a nation of people that will just follow. We'll suppress, and we'll suppress each other. We won't let our voices be heard. That's a 3 energy, your voice, your expression, speak. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's all like there's gold here.
Isn't it just weird? Like even like because like all our sports teams wear fucking gold. Australia is literally
Emerald and gold.
Yeah, but like the
green and
gold's
gold.
there, and then it's the AU. It's in the first 2 letters of the name.
Yeah.
It's like a country of gold,
Yeah.
and it's in the numerology. It's 1, 3, 1 through 4, and is also AU, which is like,
It's, you can't make it up. And it's, and but
cannot
also
make it
like the 13, like the 13 bloodlines, like the, like, I don't know, maybe the bloodlines, the 13
I
blood.
think that's telling you the home of the 13 bloodlines here, which is what we always suspected.
That's what I was going to say, actually. And that obviously the most ancient race here would have something to do with those bloodlines. They're very interested. So that's what I mean, like, metaphorically and physically. Wow. There is gold here in this country, and we should, resource-wise, we should be a fucking heavyweight world fucking giant, but we're like, people are struggling to buy fucking cheese. This is bullshit. Do you know?
You're like, I want to buy 10 kilos of cheese.
Everyone uses the expression.
Look at our current leader.
Buy
Gosh,
milk.
that's
Georgina mentions cheese. And you can't buy coon cheese anymore because you can't say that word either.
You like it? See, and coon starts with C. Fuck you.
Hey, is Australia also C, corruption?
Oh my gosh. It's so fucking corrupt.
Well, do you know what?
Like the Wizard of Oz just brings on this whole new thing, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Mm.
doesn't it? I reckon we should wrap it up because I've got like anxiety because it's not being recorded.
Oh, we don't want you to suffer anxiety.
Oh no.
Shut up, man. Are you recording it, Georgina?
Yeah, it's recorded.
So you can just like
I'll send
transfer it or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I send to you.
Okay.
I send to you.
I send to you. Kind sir. Many prosperity to you, your family. Very good. Very good.
There's one I always get used to in Thailand. They always
People
go,
are be so shocked that I can do such a good Asian accent. I'm like, look at my face. I'm fucking Asian. Hello.
I'm tripping out. Yeah.
Yes,
I know.
That's wild.
We should do one. You should do the numerology for the birth chart of America too. Maybe.
What is that?
AM is 1-4,
I
which
don't,
is
1776. I don't know.
1 AM.
July the 4th, isn't it? 4th of July.
Oh, is that the birth of America?
4, I think so. 4, 7, 1, 7, 7, 6.
1776.
I better check that's right.
I might have it. I'll have a look.
Or just American Independent. Yeah, it's 4th of July, isn't it?
That's so fascinating.
I'm pretty sure. Any American listeners will be like, oh my gosh, how can they not know?
How do they not know?
Hey, I just typed in Google birthday of America and it come up birthday American girl doll. Why did that come up?
I've got Donald Trump.
What have you been Googling, Dale?
Yeah, 4th of July, 1976.
What?
Donald Trump was born on the 14th.
1776. No, we're doing America.
I know, but Georgina was talking about if you were born with a 1 in front, and Donald Trump's born with a 14. He was born on the 14th.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, leader.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what's America overall? 4, 7.
4, 7. Hang on, I'm just doing it now. Fucking hell, my phone's going off like a frog in a fucking sock. 1 second. I'm like swearing like a
1776. Well, there's a lot of 7s there.
Woo! Hang on a second. This is fascinating. Oh,
7. Is that change? Oh my gosh. So
32. It's a 32. Okay, that's nuts.
How is it?
32, 5. 32.5. That's so wild.
Well, the 5 makes sense too because America was like the last bastion that we can go into full world tyranny, or they hold the Constitution and that moves us towards freedom. Would that make sense as a
100%, 100, and like the first what are they called? No, not commandment.
Amendment.
The first commandment.
Amendment.
And God said.
The First Amendment in America, like it's literally the freedom of speech, and the 3, like that's the 3. That's communicate. Like that is the freedom to speak.
So what would its position be like on the world stage as that number? Because so it's a 5. Because because it's interesting when I think about 5s. It's like, okay, they're not starting things and they're not ending things, but they can decide which direction it goes.
Yeah.
Like what?
They like the destiny that it can go either way.
Yeah.
It's so America would be like the pivotal point in the world. Like
which way?
Geopolitically, it's like it's dependent on America's movements.
Yeah.
And they're a 1. Well, they start with A again, so they're a 1. So
it's 1 AM is 1-4, which is 5 again. What's really interesting is that 32.5, Adolf Hitler was a 32.5.
Jacob, hear that, Jacob?
He doesn't listen. He doesn't listen because we're a political podcast. He might
Jacob
listen to
wouldn't
this
listen.
one.
He doesn't listen,
Just
but
put
he'll
Gina's
share
in
his
it.
around every. Would that even work with Trump, that he's the fourth letter with the D? And he was literally a builder, like that his job, like this is a 4?
Yeah.
His job was
the
being a
4,
builder
yeah.
in New York.
Yeah, and he's born on the 14th, and 4s are the builders, but they're like, they love systems. They love systems, but they want to be able to like 1-4, it's like my system. It's my system. It's my build. And I build it my way. That 5 energy is like, don't restrict me. I will go big or go home. Do you know what I mean? And I remember you told me, Dale, like ages ago, you were talking about when you play football, and I actually use this as a metaphor. It's a metaphor, but it's also real, to explain the 5 energy. And it's like, you would hold out. You would like sit on the toilet for like as long as possible before the game would start, while everyone else is like warming up and all this kind of stuff. It's like you wanted to do that because like if you're there to warm up, you're going to put all of your energy into warming up and then be dead for the actual game itself. So yeah, but like that's the 5 energy. It's like wherever my focus and my attention is, I'm 100%, and I will give everything to that. So you need the siren to go, and then you're on the field, and then energetically, physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, you're like 100% there, and you can put everything into that. So, it's like that's why the 5s are so crucial, because it's like whichever way I sway, there's no bringing me back to the other side.
Yeah, it's
and that's why people like dub the 5 as the number of war, because it's like it's around war a lot, and it's like it doesn't matter what side you take, but we just need you to take a side. Once you've taken a side, there's no part of you that's going to go elsewhere. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, and that's like going back to what you said, like the role of America is to have people take, like it's such a sided like
would even as a mirror too, because I was just thinking, so if America's 32.5, and like I said, like American could be used for like freedom or tyranny, depending on what way it goes. And then we've got the focus on the 2030, which is a 2-3, so it's actually a mirror of the 32.
Yeah.
And that's what 2030 has always been the singularity. This is like the date they want all this stuff in. So like you can see the mirror in both America and then the 23 and the 32. They're kind of both expressions of the 5.
Yeah.
And they're both, like America really could steer towards a form of freedom, and the 2030 is going to steer towards like full tyranny.
Yeah. And that like that the 3 being first versus the 2 being first is the difference between doing something heart-led or from a higher truth-led. Does that make sense? Like it's heart
but that makes sense. That's how they've duped the 23, because the whole 2030 agenda has been done through the green movement, which is people's empathy and their heart. And
that's right.
Misdirected care.
Misdirected care.
That's right. Exactly. And there's so much, like that's 2000s. Like that's what we've been dealing with, is like people want to connect, heart space, connect with each other, but
that was even the pushing of the jab, and probably to some extent what that bloody nurse said to you, like 100%. Because she's delusional. Yeah.
Well, it was
100%.
Like it's the fierce lioness mother energy, but just misdirected and misinformed.
Well, she said that to me in 2021, which was a 5.
Oh. Wow. Oh, so the last 5 years was 2021.
You made the choice when you came out. I need to fucking make a choice. Like I was.
Yeah. And it was like, it was a choice that I wasn't a little bit. I was like, no, I'm full blown going the opposite side of the system and doing it completely sovereign.
Oh yeah, full on, like totally.
Full on, totally, the absolute visceral.
So was that the last 5 year that we've had? 2021 was?
Yeah.
You can really see the numbers at work.
Like, that's what I'm just like so crazy. I'm like, we need to know this because it's so fucking simple. Like it's so simple.
Yeah, it's so cool to talk about countries using numbers.
Mm.
actually. Like, I'm like, I really like this. There's so many different layers to it. There's so many ways you can go with it.
So
Yeah.
many, yeah, but
Well, do you want to like finish it up with saying like how people can use their own numbers to like their own advantage because they're kind of
Oh,
neutral.
innate. Yeah.
Yeah. Like if someone has a
In the
reading with
year.
you, and we'll leave your links underneath here if people want to have a reading with Georgina or do her course. But yeah, like if they do a reading, how would they use their own numbers to their advantage?
oh my gosh, it's so fucking simple. So I explain it like we're all a soul, right? We're all soul consciousness. We're all fragments of the greater whole, right? But we have incarnated into this physical reality and we need a vessel to navigate this physical reality. This fragment of soul needs a vessel, a vehicle. And so I explain it like your date of birth is literally the make and model of the vehicle that your soul needed to navigate this reality with. And just like the make and model of the car that you freaking drive, you need to know basic information about it to know how to service this fucking thing so that it can drive the longest, the furthest, and do what it's supposed to do, right? And there's nothing emotional with that. It's not like, oh, I'm really upset that my car only takes diesel. It's just like, no, 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 that's just what it needs. I'm going to give that to the car and then it's going to drive. The date of birth literally tells you this information. It's like the most basic information about yourself that you need to firstly understand so that you can just put the right fuel in, you can drive it on the right roads, surround it by the right environment. Do you know what I mean? So that's the date of birth. Just most people won't even know and recognize that, oh, that's just the vehicle that I'm driving. Like the program is so conditioned to, no, 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 who you are is the physical. It's not. That's a byproduct of your soul incarnating here. You just need to know deeply
How to drive it.
how to fucking drive it and what
Yeah,
to.
I love when you shared that similar analogy, hey, on your stories, and I really love that. Because so
Yeah.
many people, and I get that because I've had like so many episodes of aversion to because obviously astrology is similar in the sense of like knowing your chart and then moving from there. And I get like really, and I've gone through phases of like, no, I'm beyond this. And I'll rebel against it. And it's like this rebellion, and it's like this, it's actually a psychological thing that you tend to sway either
Yeah.
way, depending on what you're going through. But it's so true because when I do actually accept certain qualities about myself and work with it, life is so much easier. And it's just kind of one of those things where it's like, yeah, acknowledging sometimes when you can be trapped by, oh, I'm just that way, but actually, and I know you speak about this too, there's higher expressions and lower expressions too of numbers and stuff like that. And it's like when you just accept, certain ways that, yeah, how to drive your car, it's like you're flying. You're good.
Yeah, like 100%. And that's a thing. Like I spend so much time in readings and in courses and stuff focusing on the date of birth and the light because this is all the physical external experience that you're going to be having here. The life path number is more, people think like that's your purpose, that's what you're here for. It's actually not at all. Your life path number is like the road that your vehicle needs to drive on in this lifetime.
I
And
didn't know
it's like,
that.
because I think about it like a tradie, you know what I mean? Like the tradie himself is the sole intention. And that, like the true reason you're here, the expression, the fragment of the soul of the overall that has incarnated, that's laid out in your date of birth. Your name at birth, the actual name. And so that is like a free flowing, untapped, unlimited flow of consciousness. And people think that I need to like work on this soul stuff. I'm like, you don't. That your soul itself is not restricted. It's not suppressed. It cannot be suppressed. It is like a river that flows at full capacity. If the river is like dammed up or blocked up, it's about releasing that blockage. But the blockage will only exist as something physical. It'll only be a physical dam. Something in your actual vehicle isn't firing, there's a piston out, that you're driving it on the wrong road, or you're putting the wrong fuel in it, or you're surrounded by people that don't align with this. You know what I mean? So I spend so much time breaking down people they need to at the basic level understand their physical to like, and when you release, you know, like if there's a dam and there's a river wanting to flow, you just like chip away at one spot and then it just floods through. There's no waiting period. It's like your soul consciousness, your soul purpose, your soul truth just floods through instantly. But it's about working through the physical. That life path number is like the bridge between the two. So that's understanding, like, if I'm a tradie, I'm driving this vehicle, I got to get to the client's house, but there's a specific freaking road that I need to take to get to the client's house. It's not until I get to the client's house that my actual soul work starts. It's not until the client's house that I get the tools out of the car and I start actually doing the real work, you know. But you have to, along the way, you've got to stop at all the small towns and you've got to have all the fucking trials and tribulations. Your car's going to break down. You've got to change the tires. But now, those skills that you learn on that drive are the skills that you're going to need when you get to the client's house. And it's very specific to the numbers that exist in your life path number. And that's why people think it has to do with your purpose, but it's not. It's like, this is the life experience you need. You need to have this duality to then be able to use that as what you're here for. And it just like, it's just all very.
It is why Mad's like, you know, when you said Charlotte, like Charlotte was talking about the name change and how much it changed her because like what Georgina teaches, like with your soul number, with your name, is that so if you altered that, you're actually altering your soul expression, or you're not allowing like with your true name to come out.
So, well, it's like it's so fascinating because we have like so many different nicknames and things like that and call people by, but what your soul consciousness, right? Which your voice is the resonance of your soul consciousness. So a soul consciousness is calling forth an expression of another soul consciousness. And so with different people that call you by different names, they call forth a different resonance of your soul. So then you show up and act in a different way depending on what they call you by. You know what I mean? So it doesn't necessarily change your path, but there's a certain expression of your consciousness that gets expressed with this person that doesn't get expressed with this other person, because that's, you know, and that's why it's actually, when you go through the process of like, you know, learning yourself and healing and all of this stuff, a big part is having to actually detox a lot of these people, because they're still going to call you by this expression.
Yeah, it's almost like call you by that name is almost like bring forward that consciousness. I've got a question about that. So with the next generation that are being born in the 2000s, is there anything around that of them aligning to their purpose or their I don't know, the reason why they're meant to be here quicker than those born, you know, in the, I guess, 19s?
Yeah. There's so much about this.
Because I see so many young men and women now speaking with such, and I don't know if it's just the generation, like they think they're right. I'm not sure, because I'm quite righteous and I kind of get that, but they do have a wisdom that does seem like and I'm like, yeah, access to internet and stuff like that, which is obviously playing a role, but I see a lot of them really just, they know, and they're really on that path like straight away. And I wonder if there's something to do with being born in the 2000s with that.
Huge. It's absolutely freaking huge. I mean, this is a higher frequency than the one energy. It's a feminine energy, but it's literally love. It's literally the frequency of love itself, heart space, you know. And so that knowing that they have is a heart space led knowing. And that's really hard to sway. Like 1900s,
really hard to sway. Yeah.
It's really hard to sway. Like when they get, and it's like the 1900s, that's a very external masculine. And so that's why for us growing up, we have to actually unravel this ideology around you only have inherent value if you're physically doing something in the world. If you're not, even if that thing has nothing to do with what you're aligned with, but at least you have something to say that you're doing, our value is all placed on that because it's external masculine. Like, what did you hunt today?
Oh, yeah. Like, what can we,
What
I
are
get
we
what you
actually physically, logistically doing in the world? Whereas, and so 1900s babies will look at 2000s babies and go, they're lazy because they don't do anything. They sit around all
now there needs to be more care and thought into
care and thought. They literally exist from a place from their core that is, if my heart is in it, I'll do it. If it's not, I'm not doing it. And you cannot move them. You can't move them. You know what I mean? It's a completely and utterly different energy. So it's a higher frequency, which is why turn of the 2000s, it was like straight away, 2001, 9/11, separation, everything to do with the two. The twos are so, it's like one of the most influential frequencies.
Interesting. And we've got the rise of influencers. That's so funny.
Literally, because that's heart space. And what does heart
and
space
particularly female influences, I would say.
Female influence,
because it's feminine.
it's a feminine energy.
Feminine.
Yeah, that's right. And it's like, it's so, because it's emotion and it's heart space and it's feeling, and it's the twos want to connect with each other. Like the two is literally like they connect, from it goes one leads the way, they dictate, but it's the two that like brings everybody else. It's like, hey, we're going in this direction. I'm going to say, and it's really funny because Dale and I are doing any events or whatever. He's born on the 15th. So both masculine and heaps of masculine energy. I got heaps of feminine energy. So he'll promote it and he'll like put up a video and underneath he'll be like, yeah, book tickets here, dates are this, da 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 da. I'll put up a video and I'll be like, oh, this means so much to us. And, this is like, and I'll be expressing this emotion and the feeling and what it means. And you know what I mean? Like it's so polar opposite. And I just love that so much. And
yeah, that actually works well, but that makes sense now.
It makes so much sense. Like direct and
I'm thinking like with letters and names too, when I thought influencers like Abby Chatfield, like she's AC again, so like A, she loves like the spotlight, she's like very aggressive mass, and then C, she's a good communicator, right? She's good at using her voice.
Her name is Chatfield. Chatfield. What about Jamie Whincup? Do you ever wonder about people's names? Like he won so many.
J is 1, A is 1, M is 4. So J is also 1.
Yeah, it's so
W is 5.
I always laugh like if I'm reading
you need to do Abby Chatfield's
if I'm reading things and their last name is linked to the thing that they do, like it happens a lot.
Yeah, it's cool. That's like Mark Passio. His name is like Mark of Passion.
Of Passion. And that he is. And that's his real name. That's actually his real name.
Yeah. Oh, we're gonna have to wind it up. Please, can you please send that to me like straight away? Because
I'll send it once it's loaded.
We'll have to have you on again. I've really enjoyed this.
It's been so good.
I've loved being on.
I don't know what to call it now though, too, because we went.
I know we went everywhere.
Diet, and
we went everywhere, and I never answered the initial question.
Free birthing, numerology, free birthing, Australia.
Asked me one question and I didn't answer.
Doesn't matter. It just goes for it. With like when Jacob came on Georgina, he's like he doesn't like this whole no structure thing. And
he's so funny. Before we started, he like laid it out for us.
Yeah, he told us like what we need to do, and he's like this. He goes, we need some order in this situation. Like we're like.
He really gave us a talking to. It was quite funny.
That's great. That's awesome.
It was good. We sort of do need it a little bit.
The free flow works for me. I do best just like.
Yeah, I think it depends on the person. Like some people do need I think when we just ask people on, like we're just like, yeah, come on. And you're like, yeah, like you didn't need anything, whereas some people are like, so what are we talking about?
Yeah, that's what Luke messaged me. He's like, what are we going into? I'm like, oh man, we don't prepare.
Yeah, we just yarn.
Come on.
It's great. The gold comes out always though in those ways.
Yeah,
I reckon.
Been a
good chat. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. Down for whatever.
It's so good.
Cool.
And we'll share your links to get
yeah,
our
we'll share your
reading.
links. So what's coming up with you? Is there anything we need to share in particular?
Yeah, I have a course. My next numerology course starts on the 3rd of July.
Oh, it's soon.
Soon, yeah. So jump into that one if you can. You get a 10% discount, Dale 10, capital letters.
I'll put that on there.
Dale 10. If you listen to this, get that in there. Yeah. Otherwise, I'm doing readings still.
So you're still doing one-on-one readings as well?
Still doing one-on-one readings, and I've also been
because you did one for my mum and she's listened to it like twice and then she walks out. It's not very good that you did that for her because now she thinks she's the best. She's like, Georgina said this.
She thinks she's the best.
She already did anyway.
Yeah, she's a rooster. She's a rooster like me. I was just like fanning the rooster flame. She's the best. I love your mum, Dale. She's great. My founder.
That's so. Yeah, if anyone wants to check Georgina's course out, we'll leave the links underneath there.
Yes.
Yeah,
that's basically it. I have been doing like sessions with one-on-one sessions with people, like ongoing sessions, which has been really powerful to do that. So if anyone's interested, check me out. So yeah. Otherwise.
Yeah, this has been so good.
We'll see you next time.
We'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.
See ya.
But if you're down that way, hey, don't forget, there again. Trockies going by will always move to one side. Yeah, and watch those roofs, we'll take one for a ride.